What's going on, guys? All right, so hopefully you went over the math review and the science review from Friday. Got those turned in today. It is Monday, May 4th. I put out the science video also, knocked that one out. Today we're going to do colored pages 561 and 563, front and back of both. Your homework that'll be due to me is 191 and 192. You're going to need this old guy, get Mr. Protractor out, ready to go in some lined paper. All right? Pause it as you need, rewind it as you need. All right, so let's knock this one out. So it says measure and draw angles. Again, this is a lesson that I wish we were together, but once you practice it, guys, it's like with anything. The more you practice it, the more repetitions you take, you're going to get better at it. So you're going to use, it says I can use a protractor to measure and draw angles. So a protractor, it says, first of all, it says find the measure. So that's when we're going to go about getting it into degrees. For it, here's your angle symbol. A lot of you are forgetting to put angle symbols on that math and home colored and homework pages last week. So hopefully, if you watch the videos, take a peek at that. Solve this problem. It's angle ABC. So we're going to talk about that. And if you look at angle, it's right here. A, B, and C. It's right there. I don't really like that color, so I'm going to get a darker color. All right. A, B, C. Which is the vertex? That's right. B is the vertex. So that's what's going to go into our center point here. So that's what they did. So if we look at theirs, it's cutting through, let me get that right there. It's cutting through 50 and 130. So it's going through 50 and 130. Okay? So this is where we need to review from what we did last week. Right angle, okay? 90 degrees. Straight angle, 180 degrees. Acute will be from 1 to 89 degrees. Obtuse angles will be from 91 to 179 degrees. Okay, so as we look at this guy, he's your pincher one, right? That's an acute angle. First thing we got to identify there. You've got to identify him. Now, as we see it here, it's cutting through the 130 and the 50. Well, 130 would mean it would be an obtuse, so this guy is going to be 50 degrees. There we go. This is just measuring the angle. This is not drawing them yet. I'm going to teach you how to draw them in a minute, and it's one of my favorite things to do. All right? Use your appropriate tools. Use the protractor to draw an angle that measures 110. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this. This is the protractor here. Pay attention to this one because this is how we draw them. We want to get one that equals 110 degrees. Is it a right angle? No. Straight angle? No. Acute? No. It's going to be a obtuse angle. So we know it's going to have that big opening mouth, right? If we had two pens together, we know it's going to be a big opening of its mouth. So watch what we do. First thing is I draw a dot. That's going to be my vertex. I draw a straight line. I always just do one straight line. Okay? All right. Now, I take my vertex, put it in the center of my protractor, line my line up on 180. Okay, now here's the tricky part. We want to go to 110 now. Okay, we have 110 here. We have 110 here. This is where it's tricky. If I draw it this way, the mouth will be wide open. If I draw it to this 110, it would be an acute. So you have to choose, all right, which 110 am I going to use? I've got this guy here, so I make a dot right there. Make a dot right at the 110, a mark there. Come back, and I'm just going to connect my two dots. See that? I'm going to do this on line paper for you so you can see it there. Watch. You ready? I took my vertex. I just draw a straight line. It should be right across that blue line. See it? Got me? And we want to do one that's 110 degrees. So it's going to be obtuse, which means it's got to be a big mouth. All right? So I'm a big mouth. I'm a loud mouth. I know. So there's this. I've got two choices. This 110 or this 110. See the 110 up there? Now, if I choose this one, it's going to be an acute angle. I'm going to choose this one over here, make my line, and then let's double check it, make sure it looks like it's 110. It's not perfect. It's pretty good. I could have done a better job. I'm going to go back and redo it. I'm going to go back and redo it. There we go. So I like that better. Because if I'd have drawn it here, it would have been an acute. So I want it to be a big open mouth. Make sense? All right. Now let's flip it over. A protractor, ta-da, is a tool that is used to measure and draw angles. A partially folded crane is shown. All right. At the right, measure angle PQR. Angle symbol PQR. Q is your vertex. So they measure it out. Okay. Notice how they're measuring it. You can read it through. Here's that word vertex. It's the first time they mentioned it. We've been saying it for a week now. Okay. Now they have choices for this one. 130 is over here also. But if we did that one, it would make it an acute. This is going to be an obtuse angle there. Okay. This one right here, right? And they walk you through it. Boom, there's a 45-degree angle. So they're playing around with it and measuring their angles. All right. How do you know the measure of angle UTS, angle symbol? UTS, the middle letter, is always your vertex. The vertex is the common endpoint of the rays that form the angle. And how do you know it's 60 degrees and not 120? So look at that. I'm going to highlight it for you. I don't like that color. Here's the angle right there. See that measurement? See that angle? How do we know that it's 60 and not 120? Well, 60 degrees is acute. It's less than 90 degrees. This one is less than 90 degrees. It's an acute angle. We know that acute angles will go between 1 degree to 89 degrees. That's what we want to review there. It's knowledge of acute versus obtuse. Okay? We're building right off of what we did last week. All right. What is the angle measure of a straight line? You already have this one written down. You guys are saying it's 180 degrees. I totally agree. You're getting it memorized. Good job. What are the vertex and rays of angle ABC? Okay? So what they're saying here is the vertex is the middle letter. That's going to be the B. Okay? That's going to be the B. All right? The rays, okay, the rays are going to go, and if we drew it, it would look like this. All right, and I'm going to draw it out so I can see it, A, B, C, so I can see it. One ray would be BA, another one would be BC, okay? BA, BC. Put a star by that one. I want you to review that one because that was 2 questions they asked. All right? Now, use a protractor to measure each angle. This goes back to last week's lesson, okay? You take one, you draw it straight out a little bit. I'm going to place this guy, the vertex, and I'm going to do it like it's looking upside down. So I place my vertex there. One line's cutting through. Ooh, now this one is going to be a close one, all right? As we look at this one here, it's cutting right between 30 and 40 and 140 and 150. It's going right down the middle. So now this is where we have to read this as a number line and be very careful. So if it's right down the middle between 30 and 40, we got 35. Between 140 and 150, we have 145. So as you look at this one, it's an acute. So it's definitely not 145. It's going to be 35 degrees. All right. The green one, I'm going to draw him all the way out there. Here's my vertex. Place it down there. What kind of angle is that? We've got an obtuse, right? Draw that right there. Now this guy, he's cutting right between 150 and 160, 20 and 30. So right down the middle, 25, 150 to 160, 155. So your answer is either 25 or 155. Well, the obtuse is that big mouth one, so it's going to be 155 degrees. Now, let's measure it again and make sure I didn't make any mistakes. And actually, it would maybe a better answer, and if you guys got it, might have been 160 degrees. I think I might like that one better. I'm going to kind of put it here in front of me. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. That's a tough one. So if you got 155, between 155 and 160, we're good. Now use a protractor to draw each angle, 110 and 50 degrees. I'm going to do this on line paper. We've already done 110 degrees. There it is. I don't need to redo it. Let's do one for 50 degrees. So we want to do a 50-degree angle, okay? 50 degrees. First thing, draw your vertex. Very simple. Second step, draw a straight line. Off of here, we're going to build it to 50 degrees. Now remember, that's going to be an acute, so it's going to look like a pincher. Vertex, that line you just drew cuts through the 180. Now you have two 50s. You have this 50, there's a 50 up here, and there's a 50 over here. Should I do it this way or this way? Which one's going to make the pincher? Absolutely. I'm going to draw this guy to this guy. Bam. There's your 50-degree angle. Okay? If you do it on the paper here, I'm just going to write C line paper. See the line paper, okay? That's best for me. All right? Now, down here, measure each angle, tell if it's acute, right, or obtuse. All right? Well, let's go back through here. Obtuse, acute, acute, obtuse. Oh, there's a right angle, 90 degrees. Acute, a little bigger. There's your obtuse, and there's your acute. All right? Now, with all of these, we could sit here and take them and draw them out. I'm going to let you bypass that. I'm just going to give you the answers right here. 125 degrees, 10 degrees, 85 degrees, almost a right angle, 145 degrees. Number 12, 40 degrees. Number 13, 105 degrees. And number 16, 20 degrees. Okay? So again, you would take that, you would stretch one out, but for that time purposes, we're going to bypass it. 15, 16, 17, and 18, I want you to get your line paper. All right? This is what I want you to do. I want you to use your protractor and draw an angle. So let's do 140 degrees. 140 degrees. First of all, is it a right angle? Nope. Straight angle? No. Acute or obtuse? Definitely obtuse, so it's going to be a big mouth. Draw your vertex. What do you draw next? You draw a line. Now you take your vertex, place it in the center of your protractor, put that line cutting through the 180. Now we want to find 140. You have a 140 here, and you have a 140 here. So do I do it here, or do I do it here? See that? Which one is going to show the obtuse angle? Well, the obtuse angle is the big mouth, so we're going to do it here. And there's your 140 degrees obtuse angle. The next number was do 180. You ready? Straight. Again, take your protractor, use that straight edge and draw it a little better. Bam, straight angle. There's 180. Done. 65 degrees. 65 degrees. What kind of angle is that? It's not a right, it's not a straight, it's acute. So, draw your dot, your vertex, draw your straight line. Do you see the repetition? Vertex goes on the center of my circle. This line goes through here, and I got to find 65. Now, this is knowledge of your number lines. 65 comes right between 60 and 70. So it's going to be right here, or it's going to be, now be careful. If you think this is 65 here, it's 50, 60. It's counting this way. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, it's going to be right here. So now, am I going to draw the acute angle here or here? See that? I'm going to draw it this way. Bam, there's my 65-degree angle because it's an acute. Pause it. That's okay. Draw it. Next one says 25 degrees. 25 degrees. Are you with me? Again, that's an acute. You're thinking, right? You got it. So I draw my vertex, draw my line. Okay. Line this guy up on the vertex in the center of that hole. Line this line up going through the 180. Let's find 25. 10, 20, 30, 40, 20. Oh, it's right there in between there. Over here, 10, 20, 30. It's over here. So again, we have two 25s, but which one do I want to choose? Well, if I choose this one, it's going to be a big open mouth. That's not going to work because it's an acute. So I come back over here. Bam. 25 degrees. And we're going to come over here and we're going to write C line paper. Because I have no clue why they sit here to say to draw them there. That's ridiculous. You with me? We just drew them. Nicely done. All right. Measure all the angles created by the intersection of Main Street and Pleasant Street. Explain how you measured. Okay. So when we look at these right here, one thing that I want you to do is I want you to increase each line. Make those lines bigger. Make both lines bigger. Okay. All right. So measure each one. Now the vertex is right there in the center. So again, I lay my, I'm going to do one at a time. All right, let's see, lay that on there. Vertex cutting right through there. It's going right down the middle, so that's 135 degrees. Okay. And I'm going to teach you a strategy here in a moment. Roll the paper around. Let's see this guy. Right down the middle, 135 degrees. Now, a couple strategies here. All the way around would be a 360. From here to here would be a 180. So we could do a couple things. You could do some math and figure it out. We're going to keep using our protractor. All right. Let's see where this guy's cutting through here. All right, 45-degree angle here, because 135 and 45 is a 180, so that's going to make that a 45. So going all the way around there, you have two 135s and two 45-degree angles. Add them together, you get a 360. We're going to see that lesson soon. This side right here is a straight angle. That's a 180. That's a 180. So get that in your head right there. Use a protractor to find the measure of the angle, then use one of the angles raised to draw a right angle. Find the measure of the angle that is not a right angle. Put a star by this one. There's a lot of little steps in there. What we do, stretch this guy out all the way up to that line. That's good right there. Vertex, line him up. 140 degrees. See that? That's the whole thing is 140 degrees. Now what they want you to do is to create a right angle. So take this guy, and I'm going to do it this way so I can see it a little better. Go straight up right there. See that? Here's your square corner. So that's 90 degrees. That would make that 140 minus 90 would make this 50 degrees. See that? So the missing angle is 50 degrees right there. Pay attention to that one. The whole thing is worth 140. The whole thing is worth 140. But once I put that right angle in there, this side's a 90-degree angle. The other side would be a 50. Pause it, review it. Gail and three friends. 4 people, good job. Share half a pie. Each piece of pie is the same size. Gail believes each piece of pie has an angle measure of 25 degrees. Is Gail correct? Explain. Okay, well, let's think about a pie. 4 people. Does that look familiar? It should. 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Does that look familiar? Mm-hmm. Well, she says that each piece that you took was 25 degrees. Do we agree? Nope, because each piece is 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Okay, all right. And a half a pie, she says, and we share a half a pie. A half a pie, check this out. A half a pie would be what? 180 degrees. So a half a pie is 180 degrees. So it says, Gail and 3 friends share half a pie. Each piece of pie is the same size. Gail believes each piece of pie has an angle measure. Is Gail correct? No, because each piece is 90 degrees. And then if we took a half a pie, that's going to be 180 degrees. 2/4, 1/2 equals 180 degrees. It's half a circle. Pause it, review it. All right, where are we? We're doing all right. Number 22. Janet made 5 3-point shots in her first game, 3 in her second game, She also made 4 2-point shots in each game. How many total points did Janet score in the 2 games? Woo! Now, does this have to do anything with degrees and measurements and fractions? Nothing. This is a whole new math problem. So 5 3-point shots. What's your first math problem? Very good. 5 times 3. What do you get? 15. And then, let's see, so Janet made 5 3-point shots in her first game and 3 in her second game. So she made 3 3-point shots in her second game. Yep, 3 times 3, 9. All right, there's her point so far. She also made 4 2-point shots in each game. Ooh, 4 2-point shots in each game. How many games did she play? 2. So 4 times 2, 4 times 2, 8 and 8. What do you do with all those numbers? You add them up, okay? 8 plus 8, 16. So 16 plus 9, 25 plus 15. What's your final answer? She scored 40 points. Did you see the trickiness in the reading, though? Right there. 4 2-point shots in each game. You got to know she had 2 games. That's where you could get tripped up. All right? Review that one. Maya designed 2 intersecting roads. She drew the roads so one of the angles at the intersection was 35 degrees. What are the 3 other angle measurements formed by the intersection? Okay, so this goes back to this problem here, very similar. So what we need to remember is that when we draw intersecting lines, okay, I'm just going to draw the intersecting lines. They might not be the correct measurements, but that's okay. What do you see there? You should see 2 straight angles, don't you? Right? You see them? Okay. All right. 180, 180. Okay? Now, if I say that one of them is 35 degrees, okay, take 180 minus 35. Take 180 minus the 35. Regroup. You're left with a 145-degree angle. So the obtuse in there is going to be a 145. The obtuse in there is going to be a 145, and the acute would be a 35 degrees. Put a star by this one, okay? So she designed the 2 intersecting roads. The roads are intersecting. She drew the road, so one of the angles is 35 degrees. What are the 3 other angle measurements formed by the intersection? This is your knowledge of straight angles. This pink one is 180. This blue one is a 180. If I already tell you that one of them is a 35, that means the other angle is a 145. So pause that one, okay, and look over it. Let me show it to you. I'm going to show it to you one more time because this is pretty cool stuff here, okay? See that line? Straight angle, right? See that line? Straight angle. So if I tell you that the obtuse and the acute, and these aren't really down to exact, if I say he's a 35 degree, from here to here it's a 180. That means he's going to be a 145. Same thing here. If he's a 35, from here to here is a 180. That's going to make this a 145. All together, what should it equal? Exactly, 360 degrees, and we're going to get to that point. Find the measure of the angle shown. All right, I'm just going to tell you that's 35 degrees. Find the measure of this angle shown, 140 degrees. I'm just going to give you those because we've been practicing it. What would you do? You would extend one line here. You would extend a line here. Vertex, vertex. He's obtuse. He's acute. I really want you to tell me what these measurements are, okay? All right. Homework. Uh-oh. Let's see. It's still moving. All right, we're good. All right. Make sure that the clock's still ticking. All right. Homework for measuring and drawing your angles. Measure each angle. Tell if it's you have to measure it, and then tell me is it acute, right, or obtuse. So let's do number 1 together. It's obtuse. Okay? I'm going to stretch him out. I really don't want to go into that other one right there, so I'm going to be real careful. Get my vertex on right there. That looks like it's 155. So I'll give you that one. So number 1 is obtuse, and it's 155 degrees. I would like for you to measure 2, 3, and 4. Okay? I would draw this line here, this line here, this line here. Number 4, be real careful. You're thinking it's a right angle, but be careful. Now, here's what I'd like you to do, okay? For this, I want you to draw an angle for each measurement. You can tell me what they are, obtuse or acute, but I also want you to draw them. So get a lined piece of paper, a piece of construction paper. I'm going to ask you to draw me 5, 7, 9, and 11. We're going to do number 10 right now. 180 degrees. Boom. Done. 90 degrees. Boom. Square corner. Done. Cross out 6 and 8. I'd like for you to do 5, 7, 9, and 11. I would do them on lined paper for me, okay? And they better look like an acute or obtuse. Understand? Okay. Back page, back page. The angle turns through 1/5 of the circle. What is the measure of each angle? Goes back to our lesson last week. Look back last week. So the whole circle is what? 360. You're going to divide that by the parts and get me an answer. Guys, if you look back at your homework, you already have this answer, okay? And degrees. So do number 13, but it's already been done. Look at last week's work. Joni is making a map of the trails in the community park. 2 of the trails start at the same point and form a 40-degree angle. Use a protractor to draw the angle that Joni will use on her map. Okay? So let's talk about this one together. So Joni is making a map of the trails in the community park. 2 of the trails start at the same point. See that? And they form a 40-degree angle. So draw a 40-degree angle. So what I do, draw my line right there. See that? Draw 40 degrees. So I'm going to see here. And my number might come up here. So is it this 40 or that 40? Well, it's an acute angle, so we're going to use this 40 right there. Notice how I make my mark. And then I just connect them. Oh my gosh, I'm ripping my paper. This is terrible. Terrible. There's my angle. So it's an acute angle. Here, here. Whew, terrible. I'm ripping it up. All right. Number 15 up. 14 is done. So you have to do 13, but that was from last week. Look back. 15. Watts, volts, and amps are used to measure electricity. There's a formula that shows the relationship between watts, volts, and amps. Volts times amps equals watts. Watts. Woo. If the volts are 120 and the amps are 5, how many watts are there? So let's plug in. This is a plug-in problem, guys. So volts times amps equals watts. 120 times 5 equals, show your work. Knock out 15. All right, 16. Love this problem. This one's a lot of fun, okay? This one's a lot of fun. Use the figure at this right. Here's the figure. Does the measure of angle COA equal the measure of EOD? What are their measures? COA. So you're going to measure this guy. Right away, you should know what he is. Does he equal EOD? See those? Are they equal to each other? It's either yes or no, and then tell me what is the measure. Okay, what is their measures? Okay, that's an easy one. Okay, knock out 16. 17, find me an acute angle. Find me an acute. Find me an obtuse. Find me a right angle. Okay, this is where you need to use your angle symbols. Use that angle symbol. You're going to give me an acute, an obtuse, and a right. I want 3 angles right there. Okay? Angle symbol, and I need 3 letters. Number 18. The measure of EOF is 35 degrees. The measure of FOB is 120 degrees. What is the measure of BOC? Now this is where it gets tricky. Okay, so they're saying E to the O to the F is 35. So there's 35 degrees. Then they say to us, the measure of FOB, where's the F? FOB is 120 degrees. What is the measure of BOC? What they're looking for, what color don't I have yet? Let's go with the red. They want to know this angle right there. This is what they don't know. But we already know something. We already have 120 plus 35, right? This whole thing right here is what? 180 degrees. That is what we're trying to get to. So this equals 155. What are we missing? 180 minus 155. Regroup. And our final answer for this one right here, and I just did number 18 with you. 18, that marker's terrible. Number 18 is 25 degrees. The knowledge here is that we have this angle. What's this little guy right there? And the knowledge is that we need to know is that this whole straight angle is a 180. All right. So down here, I love number 19. Only one of these equals 25 degrees. It's not a straight angle. It's not a right angle. It's either an acute or obtuse. You need to find which one is 25 degrees. All right? All right. So knock that one out. Get that done. You have to do 19, 17, 16, and 13, and 15. This right here is 3 answers in 1. I want an angle, 3 letters, angle, 3 letters, angle, 3 letters for acute, obtuse, and a right angle. On the front page, figure out 3 and 4 measurements. Tell me what kind of angles they are. Then do 5, 7, 9, and 11. All right? All right, guys. I'm here to help. Holler, holler. Bye.